acid.
Win tickets to see the Titans take on the Cowboys tonight on News Channel 5 at 10.
I'm Bob Schieffer. Another terrorist attack. Again, the targets are trains. Again, hundreds are left dead and wounded. But this time, it is in India. That's where we start tonight. Then we'll have these stories.
I'm Lara Logan with Israeli Defense Forces as they prepare to move deeper into Palestinian territory.
I'm Armin Katayan. He stands accused of horrible crimes in Iraq. So how did a soldier with a serious psychiatric problem get into the Army in the first place?
And I'm Anthony Mason with the world's most expensive painting and why this man just paid a fortune for it.
This is the CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer.
Good evening. 2 years ago, terrorists struck rail lines in Madrid, Spain. Just a year ago, it was the subways of London. Today, the target was a commuter rail line in Mumbai, India. 8 bombs went off this time, leaving at least 147 people dead and more than 500 wounded. In today's hair-trigger world, the episode caused security to be increased for a time from London to the New York subways and Capitol Hill. We're beginning tonight with Richard Roth.
The explosions ripped the trains open and tore off windows and doors. 8 bombs in all in a coordinated attack in the crush of the evening commute. The targets were strung out along a single rail line of Mumbai's commuter network, one of the oldest and most crowded in the world. Nearly half the city's 16 million people move on public transport every day. And hundreds today were squeezed into every train car. Some were blown out by the force of the explosions. Eyewitnesses said others jumped from moving cars, desperate to get away from the fire. The bombings echoed terror attacks on trains in Madrid 2 years ago and in London last year. Mumbai, which used to be called Bombay, is India's financial center, and the rail system is its lifeline. As drenching rain and darkness fell, the police commissioner said a normal human being could not have done this. Just hours earlier, a grenade attack by Islamic extremists killed 8 people in the Indian part of Kashmir, the province divided between India and Pakistan. Muslim rebel groups have been fighting for years to push India out of Kashmir. Pakistan's been accused of training and funding the militants who've been implicated before in bomb attacks in India. Pakistan tonight insists it had nothing to do with this and nothing but sympathy for India's tragedy. Richard Roth, CBS News, London.
Pentagon officials finally conceded today what they have never been willing to concede before, that international law does apply to terrorist suspects being held in U.S. prisons. They had no choice, really, in light of a recent Supreme Court ruling, but the admission means new complications in how to handle the prisoners at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. David Martin now with that.
The memo from the Deputy Secretary of Defense informs senior military commanders all prisoners held by the Pentagon, including members of al-Qaeda at Guantanamo, are now protected by a key provision of the Geneva Convention. According to CBS News legal analyst Andrew Cohen, it is an about-face ordered in response to the recent Supreme Court decision, which rejected the Bush administration's long-held contention that the Geneva Convention does not apply to the war against al-Qaeda.
Absolutely. It's a reversal of policy. I don't think we would have seen this policy change had the Supreme Court last month not issued its ruling.
The court ruled that military commissions set up to try prisoners in Guantanamo did not meet the standards for a fair trial required by the Geneva Convention. But a Pentagon lawyer told the Senate Judiciary Committee today whatever new procedures are now adopted for prosecuting members of al-Qaeda, there's no way they're going to have the same legal rights as a common criminal.
It is simply not feasible in time of war to gather evidence in a manner that meets strict criminal procedural requirements.
He argued that soldiers raiding a terrorist safe house are not trained to collect evidence and that advising a suspected terrorist of his right to remain silent would hinder the gathering of intelligence that could save lives.
The Pentagon, I think, even as it sort of implements this new directive, is going to be looking on the margins for ways in which they can try to get intelligence from these suspected terrorists and somehow still comply with the Geneva Convention.
The Bush administration has lost the battle over whether the Geneva Convention should apply to
members of al-Qaeda. But the fight over exactly what legal rights they're entitled to is just beginning, Bob.
You know, David, the thought that occurs to me, there are a lot of these high-ranking al-Qaeda officers being held in these secret prisons that we keep hearing about overseas. What will be the impact on those people?
Well, this memo from the Deputy Secretary of Defense applies only to prisoners being held by the military. Those high-level al-Qaeda prisoners like Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the so-called mastermind of 9/11, are being held by the CIA at secret prisons overseas, and they are way beyond the reach of this memo.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Dave. There is some late-breaking news tonight about a security breach at the State Department. CBS News correspondent Jim Stewart is in our Washington bureau with more on that. Jim, what is this all about?
Well, Bob, all the State Department will confirm is that something seemed wrong with their computers a few weeks ago, and it's not some kind of virus, they say. The Associated Press reports that hackers apparently targeted the system with emphasis on State Department offices dealing with China and North Korea. Reportedly, whoever did the hacking tried to leave so-called back doors so they could come back later and keep intruding into the computers. Some sensitive information may have been stolen, the AP reports, but the State Department says that's not so. So it's difficult to tell exactly how serious the problem is. The FBI says they were never informed of the hacking, and the State Department confirms that all of its computers are back up and running, although some security passwords and settings have been changed. This isn't the first time this has happened. Last summer, the Defense Department and other U.S. agencies noticed similar problems with their computers. Hackers in China were considered the culprits in that incident, too, Bob.
Well, is there any classified information, or is this unclassified information that they got into?
Bob, the only computers that were hacked were unclassified, so there weren't any deep, dark secrets in there. When you ask them what was in there, they say generally information that was available to the public. Bob.
But still, the FBI was not notified. That's okay. Well, thanks very much, Jim. The battle in the Gaza Strip is on the verge of blowing wide open tonight when the Palestinians refused once again to release the Israeli soldier whose kidnapping set off the crisis. Israeli leaders today gave their commanders permission to step up the offensive. Tonight, their forces appear to be on the move. Our chief foreign correspondent, Lara Logan, is in Gaza again tonight. Lara?
That's right, Bob. We've been hearing explosions here in the last hour, and the Israeli army has actually confirmed that Israeli ground troops, tanks, and armored personnel carriers have moved into central Gaza. This is the first time since this crisis began just over 2 weeks ago that they have moved that far into Palestinian territory, and it's clear that this is going to escalate tensions here in Gaza. For 2 weeks, Israeli tanks and artillery have rained shells on the Gaza Strip, killing dozens of Palestinian militants and about 20 civilians. Now the army has the green light to escalate their offensive, spreading their operations deeper into the Palestinian territory. Brigadier General Ido Nehushtan told me they're determined to stop Palestinian rocket attacks on Israel and to secure the safe return of captured Israeli Corporal Gilad Shalit.
We know that he is in Gaza Strip.
Do you know more than that?
I think that Gaza Strip is not a very big portion of land. It's a big campaign. We have the time.
Do you think time is on your side?
We have patience. And we have no other option.
Israeli airstrikes continued early this morning. This one targeting Palestinian militants traveling in northern Gaza, killed 1 and wounded 4. Nearby, Palestinians inspected the scene of an overnight attack by an Israeli warplane. The Israelis say that airstrikes like the one that destroyed this bridge are designed to stop Palestinian militants from moving rockets around the area and firing them into Israel. But many here believe the real aim is to destroy the Palestinian civilian infrastructure. The extent of the growing humanitarian crisis in Gaza was evident at this fuel station, where thousands of people lined up, desperate for gas, after Israel allowed a limited supply to reach the city. There have been critical fuel shortages since the Israelis sealed the area last month and bombed the main power station. Everybody is fighting for gas because Israel isn't allowing enough through, this worker told us. People have even been shooting at us. The Israeli operation in central Gaza is taking place just about 7 miles from where we are here. We can hear sirens and the occasional explosions. New pictures, the first pictures have just come into us showing Israeli tanks moving across the border from Israel, actually entering into Palestinian territory and moving towards central Gaza. Now, there are unconfirmed reports that Israeli special forces have moved even deeper into Palestinian territory and have been going from house to house conducting searches. These reports have come through various Palestinian sources, still not confirmed, but they would appear to be searching for the captured Israeli soldier. Bob?
All right. Well, thank you, Laura. It looks like you're going to have a long night there. Still ahead on the CBS Evening News, new and better drugs for fighting cancer, but what good are they if the people who desperately need them can't afford them?
If you're over 50 and have other risk factors, you already face a greater risk of a heart attack. Ask your doctor how Bayer Low-Dose can help prevent 1 in 3 heart attacks. Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen. She reduced her risk with Bayer, working wonders every day.
Can't believe it.
Would you like to win $1 million from Publishers Clearinghouse this summer?
Oh, yeah!
Go to PCH.com at once. Or enter by mail, and this summer you could be a millionaire.
Hey, you feel like going out? I'm bloated, irregular. Probably stressed from exams. And look how it makes us eat. So how come you're okay? I eat Activia every day.
Introducing smooth, delicious Dannon Activia. With the natural culture Bifidus regularis, it's clinically proven to help naturally regulate your digestive system in 2 weeks.
It's good. I feel great.
Help naturally regulate your digestive system in 2 weeks.
Now let's get out of here.
New Scrubbing Bubbles Automatic Shower Cleaner is so easy. It works like this. It covers your entire shower every day, cleaning soap, scum, mold, and mildew stains. Which means it also works like this. Cleans a dirty shower in days. Keeps a clean shower clean from day one. Same time tomorrow, ladies? New Scrubbing Bubbles Automatic Shower Cleaner, made for your shower. S.C. Johnson, a family company.
My kids call me the finisher. Finish up in there.
Okay.
Finish your homework?
Yes.
Finish your vegetables. Something I thought I was finished with? Managing my acid reflux disease. I thought it was just bad heartburn, but my doctor said over time, stomach acid was damaging the lining of my esophagus. She prescribed Nexium. Said I needed more than heartburn relief. My esophagus needed repair. 1 prescription Nexium pill a day not only relieves my heartburn, it healed erosions in my esophagus. So I don't just feel better, I am better. And with the Purple Plus program, I get advice on nutrition, exercise, even ways to save on Nexium. My doctor did say headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain could be side effects of Nexium, and other serious stomach conditions may still exist.
Talk to your doctor about the healing Purple Pill.
I tell him you shouldn't do anything halfway. Let's finish up.
If you're without prescription coverage and can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
It's a rule of Washington. When the news is good, the highest ranking official announces it. So today, the president himself announced that the federal deficit this year will total $296 billion. That is 30% lower than he predicted back in February. He gave the credit to his tax cuts, saying they stimulated the economy and boosted the amount of money coming into the Treasury. The sharply rising cost of some prescription drugs is busting the budgets of many cancer patients and may have an effect on their long-term health prospects. For that story tonight, we turn to Trish Regan.
I'm concerned that there will be people in the not distant future that simply won't be able to get the cancer care they need because there isn't somebody available to pay for it.
Dr. Leonard Saltz, one of the nation's top cancer specialists, sees a crisis looming.
I am worried that the cost of cancer care is spiraling out of control.
In the last year, the cost of cancer drugs climbed 15%. That's 5 times the increase for other prescriptions. And drug companies are reaping the benefits. Today, Genentech, the maker of leading cancer drug Avastin, reported record earnings growth, up a stunning 79%. Wall Street analyst Jeffrey Porges says the source of that growth is simple.
And the key driver for that is those cancer drugs.
And what's keeping those cancer drugs going so well? Well, part of it is the pricing.
Consider this. A 1-month prescription of Avastin costs $4,400. Bristol Myers Erbitux runs $10,000 a month. The industry defends its prices, saying new medicines come with a cost, but remain a very small part of total health spending and a very big part of improving cancer patients' survival chances.
You can argue that they were the ones that took the risks, that committed all the resources, but I think there's just a little bit of to and fro about what's reasonable.
It's not the cost of the ingredients in drugs that contribute to lofty price tags. It's the cost of developing and then marketing the products. Meanwhile, some of the most expensive drugs may only extend a patient's life by a few months or a year.
That's really, I think, the crux of the problem, that for a modest improvement, there's a huge increase in cost.
Insurance companies will generally cover 80% of these expenses. But with costs rising so high, there's growing concern they'll stop paying for these expensive drugs altogether, which may actually force some changes in the pricing, Bob.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Trish. The news isn't always surprising or shocking. Sometimes it's predictable and annoying, like this today from the Energy Department. It raised its prediction for summer gasoline prices by 12 cents and now says it expects prices to average $2.88 a gallon. That is half a dollar more than last summer. Still ahead on the CBS Evening News, a soldier with psychological problems is charged with a horrible crime. But how did he get into the Army in the first place? We'll begin a special series next.
My life is more than I expected, so it's a good thing there's Caltrate. It does more than I expected.
Introducing new Caltrate, now with more vitamin D. It helps keep bones strong and your colon healthy.
Bring it on!
New Caltrate, more than you expect.
My baby left for college, and I got a pain reliever for my back. Took classes, too. Got something for arthritis pain. Different pains, different pain relievers. But now Advil is my every pain reliever. Works wherever I hurt. I'm all Advil.
Are you at home trying to sleep, but your mind is still at the office? Reviewing tomorrow's agenda, charting out the future? Maybe it's time for you to be the boss. Ask your doctor about Lunesta. Even if you've never thought of taking a prescription sleep aid before, Lunesta is non-narcotic and approved for long-term use. And Lunesta can help you get a full night's sleep at last. Lunesta works quickly, so take it right before bed. Of course, do not use sleep medicines for extended periods without first talking to your doctor. Be sure you have at least 8 hours to devote to sleep before becoming active. Until you know how you'll react to Lunesta, you should not drive or operate machinery. Do not take Lunesta with alcohol. Most sleep medicines carry some risk of dependency. Side effects may include unpleasant taste, headache, drowsiness, and dizziness. For a great night's sleep, leave the rest to Lunesta. Ask your doctor.
All of us have internal plumbing. But for some of us with frequent bladder urges, doing errands also means knowing where all the bathrooms are along the way. The worry your pipes might leak means you don't always detour from your route. But you can take another direction. Talk to your doctor about how to take care with Vesicare. Vesicare, once a day, can reduce urges and may help effectively manage bladder leakage day and night. If you have certain types of stomach, urinary, or glaucoma problems, do not take Vesicare. While taking Vesicare, if you experience a serious allergic reaction, severe abdominal pain, or become constipated for 3 or more days, tell your doctor right away. Common side effects are dry mouth, constipation, blurred vision, and indigestion. A chance to follow a whim, not always your urges. It's not just a pipe dream. Ask your doctor today if Vesicare is right for you.
The violence in Iraq only gets worse. About 60 more people were killed today alone. That after 50 died yesterday, more than 40 the day before. Up to 16 died when 2 suicide bombers blew themselves up only 200 yards from the entrance to Baghdad's fortified Green Zone. And 10 people were killed when gunmen fired on a van carrying Shiites home from a funeral. You heard the story here. You've read about it in the newspapers, how 5 soldiers and 1 former soldier, Stephen Green, have been charged in a horrible crime in which an Iraqi woman was raped and then killed along with her family. Green was recently discharged with psychiatric problems. But the question is, how do people like him get into the Army? Tonight, our chief investigative correspondent, Armin Katayan, begins a two-part report on this, what we are calling the mind of a soldier.
A high school dropout from a broken home, Stephen Green joined the Army to give his life direction, only to be discharged after just 11 months of service for an unspecified personality disorder. It was only after the Army had become aware that Green had allegedly raped an Iraqi woman, shown here at a younger age, and then massacred her and her family, that the clinical term antisocial was publicly added to the diagnosis.
Chances are you're going to be insubordinate with authority. You're going to be able to casually do wrongful things, to enemy non-combatants.
So how does an infantryman like Green, suffering from such a disorder, slip past recruiters, take the oath of enlistment, and make it all the way into combat? One reason experts say is prior to induction, there is no formal personality assessment. Recruits are asked only to fill out medical forms, volunteering whether they've ever seen a mental health professional. In addition, military recruiters around the country are under constant pressure to fulfill annual quotas and maintain new troop levels, which has led to charges of fraudulent enlistments and ethical misconduct.
The recruiters have the incentive to overlook these situations so that they can get somebody into a uniform as quick as possible.
The spirit of a soldier, that's never changed.
To help meet the U.S. military's lofty recruitment goals, 80,000 new troops this year alone, an ever-increasing number of recruits receive waivers for issues ranging from medical problems to misdemeanor drug and alcohol convictions. Those waivers have increased 70% since 2001. The Pentagon says only about 1% of those booted out of the Army involve personality disorders. But here at Fort Carson in Colorado, about 18% of the soldiers involuntarily discharged involve personality disorders. 1, 2, 3. A threefold increase since the war began. Tomorrow we'll look at servicemen and women who come home with psychological problems they developed in the military and what, if anything, is being done to help them. Bob?
Thank you very much, Armin. They say one picture is worth 1,000 words, but this one's worth a lot more than that. It is the most expensive painting in the world. We'll take a look at it next.
Lincoln Mercury has some of America's hottest selling new models. And to celebrate, every 2006 Lincoln car, SUV, and luxury pickup has the best values of the summer during the Lincoln Mercury Celebration Clearance. Like Lincoln Zephyr, winner of the Luxury Car Interior of the Year. Now lease Zephyr with 0 first month's payment, 0 down, and 0 cash due for only $364 a month. Don't miss the Lincoln Mercury Celebration Clearance.
What's going on? It's Edie's slow churned light ice cream. Tastes just like regular.
Edie's slow churned, incredibly rich and creamy.
How much did we order?
Same great ingredients, revolutionary process. One day, all ice cream will be made this way.
Journalism is a team sport, and I've known Katie Couric since she broke into journalism, and she's going to be a great addition to the CBS News team. She's tough, she's fair, she's a straight shooter. I'm heading back to Washington this fall, and I want to welcome Katie to our team. She'll be terrific. Just watch.
Maud, cows are out.
I found it.
I'll take it from here.
Things are easier to find when they're stuck together. New Gladware interlocking lids lock together so you always know where they are. For lids that are easy to find, get Glad.
was designed to move. That's why Serenity developed a revolutionary fabric for their protective underwear that stretches in every direction to gently hug your body for a closer fit than the leading protective underwear. Serenity Discreet Activewear. You move, they move. You're protected. For a free sample, call 1-877-GET-TENA. Serenity from Tenna.
Coming up in just minutes on News Channel 586, a rash of robberies in the Music Row area are getting more and more violent. We'll tell you what happened and what's being done at 6.
Beginning later this week at a new museum here in New York City, art lovers will be able to see with their own eyes the painting that brought the highest price ever. Our Anthony Mason got an exclusive look at it as he talked with the man who bought it.
As the world's most expensive painting was carefully uncrated in New York, the new owner waited to see the work that literally cost him a fortune.
I just absolutely adore it.
Gustav Klimt's gilded masterpiece, the portrait of Adele, cost Ronald Lauder a record-breaking $135 million.
Did you hold your breath for a moment saying, I don't know if I can do this?
Sometimes now I look back, I said, how did I do it? But at the moment when there's a question of buying it, it took me about 2 seconds to say yes.
In his first television interview since buying the work, Lauder said today it'll become the star of his museum, the Neue Gallery. A lifelong collector,
each piece, I remember when I got it.
He's heir to the Estee Lauder cosmetics fortune and worth an estimated $2.7 billion.
But I have to imagine that even for you, this is a lot of money.
This was not a question of money. This was a question of something so special. This piece is priceless.
Klimt painted Adele Bloch-Bauer in 1907. The daughter of a Jewish sugar magnate, she was reported to be the artist's lover. But in 1938, when the Nazis invaded Austria, the painting was looted. After an epic legal battle, Adele's portrait was finally returned to her heirs in Los Angeles earlier this year. They then decided to sell it.
On the final leg of its incredible journey, the gold portrait was brought from Los Angeles in an unmarked armored truck, shadowed by 2 security cars that traveled nonstop for 3 days and nights across the country to bring the world's most expensive painting here to New York.
Maria Altman, Adele's 90-year-old niece, came to see her aunt's portrait today and said the painting
has found its home here, makes us all very happy.
Installed behind bulletproof glass, the shimmering Adele will soon be on public display. The painting's price tag now as rich as its history. Anthony Mason, CBS News, New York.
Have to sell a lot of lipstick to afford that one. That's the news coming up tonight at 10, 9 Central here on CBS, a special Tuesday edition of 48 Hours.
Jane Mixer was a law student found murdered. Everyone suspected a serial killer. 35 years later, it turns out everyone was wrong.
We had no idea that this person even existed.
A 48 Hours mystery tonight.
And we'll see you tomorrow right here on the CBS Evening News. I'm Bob Schieffer. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, click on CBSNews.com. Brought to you in part by Walmart. Walmart and Sam's Club pharmacies accept all Medicare prescription drug plans. And at the Walmart price, you get a great value for your prescription dollars.
This is CBS. Crime on Music Row. Tonight, one woman talks about her run-in with a robber and how she thought her life was over.
Then another robbery with a totally different outcome.
Just like, hi, how you doing? Gun in your face. Yeah, it's pretty random.
You won't believe how he turned the tables on his would-be robbers.
And we've had heat and humidity today, and some areas, especially to our north and west, saw some thunderstorms. Your news begins now.
Live with Sky 5. From your news and information leader. This is News Channel 5 at 6.
Absolutely, I thought I was going to die. I was hysterical. It was the scariest moment of my life ever.
Good evening, everyone. She feared for her life.
A Nashville woman was robbed at gunpoint, and tonight she's telling her story to News Channel 5. It's one of several recent crimes in the Music Row area. News Channel 5's Brent Frazier is live near Music Row with one of these burglaries and the break-ins.
Chris, good evening. The latest theft that we know of happened just yesterday. Now, no one really knows who these suspects are. However, homeowners speculate they are homeless people and drug addicts.